right now I'm connected to the console port on ASW1. And that's fine for right now. But at some point in time, we do not want to have to be physically present at ASW1 in order to manage it. So the console port gives us that physical ability to manage the device. But we are going to be remotely managing this device going forward. In order to remotely manage a device, what do I need? If you're not sure of that answer, let's think about a PC for a second. PC1 in this particular scenario. If I want PC1 to communicate on the network, what does it need at a minimum? What does it need at a minimum? Let's look at the output of IP config on PC1. Right now, we're looking at the Ethernet adapter for PC1 right here. It needs what at a minimum? Well, it really only needs two values at a minimum, and those values are an IP address and a subnet mask. That's all it needs at a minimum. It needs some way to be identified on the local area network. So PC1 is part of the 10.110/26 local area network right now. It has an IP address, a subnet mask. It can communicate locally in that network. Well, at a minimum, if I want to communicate with ASW1 from a remote location like PC1, I would need an IP address to interact with it. Does ASW1 have an IP address right now? Let's check that out. Show IP interface brief. When I look at the output of show IP interface brief, I see no IP addresses listed. Look at this. Unassigned, 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 all the way down to the bottom. There's no IP addresses. And we want to manage it. The fast Ethernet 0/1. So what am I going to do? I'm going to configure an IP address. Interface fast Ethernet 0/1. IP address. What do we want to give this device as an IP address? I want to give it 10.1.1. Let's go with 3 in this case. 255.255.255.192. I chose .3 because R1's using .1 right now. PC1 and 2 are using .10 and 20. I'm not using .3 on anything else. I'm going to hit enter and it says invalid input detected right here. Right there. IPAD.D. There's something wrong. It does not understand what I typed in. Well, what did I do wrong? Well, what is fast Ethernet 0/3? Oh, pardon me. What is interface fast Ethernet 0/1? Well, it's a layer 2 interface. Layer 2. Layer 2 of the OSI model. Wait, is there IP addressing at layer 2 of the OSI model? No, there's not. We have IP addressing at layer 3 of the OSI model. So this is a layer 2 interface. It does not accept an IP address. So what do I need? I need a layer 3 interface. That's what I need. Let's look back up here. Are there any layer 3 interfaces? Yeah, there is. This one right here. VLAN 1. Interface VLAN 1. This is a virtual layer 3 interface that we can use for management purposes. So what do? We're going to enter interface configuration mode for VLAN 1. So interface VLAN 1. And I'm going to type in that IP address command. IP address 10.113.255.255.192. I'm going to hit enter and look, it works. It works. Gave it an IP address. Let's scroll back up and see, is it already up? It is. So on this device, it is up by default. It's enabled. But if it was not up by default, then you would have to type in the no shutdown command in order to enable the interface. So now let's take a look at our output of show IP interface brief. Again, show IP interface brief. And we'll see that we have an IP address assigned to interface VLAN 1, and it is up. So what does that mean? It means I can now manage this device remotely. I can send packets to and from ASW1. Now, I want you to be very careful here with what I said. This has nothing to do with the frame forwarding process. Always remember that the frame forwarding process of a switch is strictly a layer 2 process. We have a frame that arrives on an interface. The switch analyzes the destination MAC address of the frame, and then makes a forwarding decision based on that. Are there any IP addresses involved? No. So this IP address that I just configured, 10.1.1.3, as part of the /26 network, is strictly for management purposes. So let's go ahead and issue a ping. Can I ping 10.1.1.10? Who is that? That's PC1. If I can ping PC1, I now have connectivity from a management standpoint. So what does that mean? It means that I could go to PC1 and issue a ping there as well and see what happens. Ping 10.1.1.3. Oops, not 13. Success. So now I could manage that device. So let's just use Telnet as an example. Telnet 10.1.1.3. Now I did not officially set up Telnet on ASW1, but it's telling me password required but none set, meaning that I was able to Telnet to the device, but I don't have the right credentials to complete the Telnet connection. But I was actually able to make that connection, that layer 3 management connection to ASW1. Let's go over to now DSW1 and do the same thing, but we're going to give it a different IP address. So configure terminal, and we're going to say interface VLAN 1, IP address 10.1.1.2, 255.255.255.192. Show IP interface brief. And we'll see that we have 10.1.1.2 successfully applied. And now let's go ahead and just do a ping. So ping 10.1.1.2, or pardon me, 3. That's pinging ASW1. So I can successfully communicate for management purposes between ASW1 and DSW1 as well. So we have layer 3 management connectivity now using interface VLAN 1, which is a virtual layer 3 interface on both ASW1 and DSW1.